Hey there. Are you tired of waiting for the next episode of It's Probably Not Aliens? Well, we've got some good news for you. On Nebula, our streaming service, you can get access to all our episodes a week early. That's right, you'll never have to wait again to hear Scott and I debunk the latest ancient astronaut theory or get a movie fact wrong. But that's not all. Nebula is home to dozens of content creators we know you like, so you can find all your favorites in one place. Plus, we post content on there that you won't find anywhere else. And the best part? By signing up for Nebula at nebula.tv/probablyNotAliens, you're directly supporting the show and both of us. So don't wait any longer. Join Nebula today and listen to the next episode right after this one.
Your favorite movie involving Mars?
Ooh.
There's a lot of Mars ones out there.
It's
Mars
true.
Attacks. There's The Martian.
I was like really into The Martian, except for like one. The Martian had one very, very tragic circumstance. And I feel like we've talked about this on the show before, but
I think we have, but do tell.
There are also like 100 and some episodes so far. So The Martian was like, it's a really, really good movie, and it's a good book about like, you know, surviving on Mars and like a lot of ingenuity and stuff like that. But like almost perfectly timed for when the movie came out was when we discovered that Mars' surface is made of a high concentration of perchlorate salts, which means that the soil of Mars is actually poisonous, and any potatoes that would have been grown on those no potatoes would have grown in that soil, and even if they did, they would be poisonous.
It doesn't matter how many mounds of Matt Damon's shit that you buried them in.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have worked.
It would just be so toxic. Darn.
But I would probably say my favorite is probably the Tim Burton Mars Attacks, which features so many fun things, including a baby Jack Black.
Also true. Yeah, that movie gave me... I didn't realize that movie was like... Because it's a comedy, right?
Yeah,
like
it's got like Martin Short. And,
yeah.
It's a straight up comedy movie, yeah.
I didn't realize it was a comedy because as a kid, it scared me. It was terrifying. Those aliens are scary and they have guns that turn people into skeletons. No, thank you. So, I have not seen it since I was a child because I am terrified of it. But maybe I'll go back.
Yeah, now I kind of want to watch it again. It's really good. Pierce Brosnan is like headless the whole movie. It's
it's pretty good. What about Mars Needs Moms? The 2011 animated classic Mars Needs Moms.
I don't even know the first thing about that. I feel like that's the first time I've even heard that title.
Starring Seth Green and other people. But that's it. Mars Needs Moms. Did Disney do that one? I think they did, but I could be wrong. Yes, it was Disney. Good job, Disney. Mars Needs Moms. That's
Mars and Seth Green together makes me think of that there's an Invincible role-playing game that's on Kickstarter right now as the time we're recording this. But yeah,
I'm just looking up all the Mars movies. There's a Wikipedia page about movies set on Mars. Oh, here's one kind of. It's not really set on Mars, but Mars is involved. We got Watchmen. We got Zack Snyder's Watchmen. There was
a movie that I remember seeing where they found like that was about a mission to Mars where they go to the face on Mars. Well, you'd be happy
to know that there is a movie called Mission to Mars.
Okay. Yeah. So we're talking about this because we're doing I'd say it's an emergency podcast, but we're recording this on September 30th, and I suspect this is going to come out sometime in December or January. So the story might have changed quite a bit, but we're actually going to be doing 2 episodes, sort of about emerging events right now that both have to do with Mars. And this one specifically is actually pretty exciting. So this one is going to be pretty cool, but let's first just
But,
kind of...
Hey, what is this podcast? Great question. This podcast is a podcast called It's Probably Not Aliens, where we look into ancient astronauts and ancient aliens and really just debunk or look into things. And we've got, sometimes we do science, sometimes we do history. We do all the whole gamut of alien related stuff. I love when we tackle emergency episodes like this of like something just happening right now we're on the cusp of it. And it's very exciting. So I'm excited to learn all about this thing that's happening on Mars right now. I'm one of the co-hosts. My name is John Carter from Mars. That's another Mars movie. He was there. He was on Mars. But my actual name is Scott Nicewonder. I know nothing. I genuinely don't know what this news is, and I'm excited to learn about it.
My name is John, or what was Martian Manhunter's like
Jean Jones? You want to have it with
John.
that ZH? Jean Jones.
I'm or Marvin. This makes
Marvin
me very
Martian.
angry.
That's pretty good. Do you think he was upset that when The Martian came out and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm the Martian? Actually, can you do that in his voice?
Excuse me, sir. I am the Martian.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, but my name is Tristan Johnson, and I am the one whomst the toll calls for researching. But today is going to be a very special episode of It's Probably Not Aliens, unless this gets completely reversed in the months between when we record and when this comes out, because like Mars, this story is hot. Yeah. It's hot, hot, hot.
Hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, the klaxon.
That's the sound
klaxon
effect I put on the soundboard for hot, hot, hot.
So this is just like a disclaimer in case the time between makes this irrelevant, but this is at the moment, really, really, really big story, and it is unfolding in real time and might have developments that we don't talk about because we don't know because we're recording this a couple months in the past. This would have been the biggest story that ever happened. Unfortunately, when it was announced, a conservative social media influencer was shot in the neck and kind of took over the news cycles that day. So this kind of went under the radar, but it was one of the bigger stories. So I'm just going to put it out there. This is going to be one of the first big things to say to everybody.
You're calling this a conspiracy.
No.
To cover up Mars.
No. But this is one of those things where this is probably the closest it's been to it is aliens. That's the tease for here. So that just know that this is the first time where I'm like, well, you know what? It looks pretty good, but let's dig in.
I would love to dig in, but first I also do need to tell you, did you know there was a new War of the Worlds movie that came out recently?
I heard it was really bad. It has Ice Cube or Ice-T or Ice Cube or something, right?
Yeah, it's Ice Cube. Yeah, for sure. It was filmed during COVID, so
everyone's at their computer.
Everyone's at their computer watching the aliens attack, and the aliens are from Mars. So I just wanted to let everyone to know that.
Honestly, on the DL, the War of the Worlds movie with Tom Cruise is pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
That one is one of those movies that I'm surprised that no one remembers it, because I'm that movie was good.
It holds up, I think. I mean, I haven't seen it since it came out, but I liked it.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to tell you this story because this one's blowing my mind, and I want to get into the science and all these kinds of things. You might have heard the story in the news, maybe or maybe not. So let's talk about what's called the Cheyava Falls rock. Let's start.
Tell me about it.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So let's just say this. So we're going to go to a place called Jezero Crater. It's on Mars.
Oh, awesome. I love it. I'm feeling it. Describe it to me. Paint a word picture. We're here. What are we wearing? What are we doing? What are we drinking, maybe?
Well, billions of years ago, it was an actual lake bed that was fed by a river. Now, this was a long, long time ago. Now it is a empty dust bowl, but that combination of things, lake bed fed by river, is a really good suspect for having at one point hosted life.
Okay.
Right now, in that canyon, or in that, I guess that basin that used to be a lake, is currently the rover named Perseverance. You might have heard of Perseverance, the Mars rover, NASA's little device over there.
Sure.
It's a mobile geology lab. It's about the size of a small car, and it has been in this crater since landing in 2021.
All right. So it's been there a while, a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. And then, and I remember when this story happened, but we didn't talk about it yet because they needed to do some verification. But in July of 2024, they encountered what they called the, quote, most puzzling, complex, and potentially important rock they had ever found, which they nicknamed Cheyava Falls after a waterfall in the Grand Canyon.
So they found the coolest rock, the most interesting rock they could find. What made this rock so interesting?
Potentially that it could completely change the way that we see the universe. It's a little, it's a little arrow-shaped rock about 3.2 feet by 2 feet, and it has large veins of calcium sulfate, which is evidence that water once flowed through the cracks of it. And the most important feature of it is this. Okay. Now, Scott, there's a little picture there.
There is a little picture. I see it. You didn't hide it from me, which is good, because usually when you hide pictures, I'm going to have a jump scare of some kind. But this is good. I'm seeing it. Do you want me to describe what I'm seeing?
I want to just give me an impression. Your impression.
Okay. Is this the rock? Is this a close-up of the rock?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of brown, like most rocks. It's got like some white on the edges here, but it does look like in the middle, and it's helpfully labeled, so I appreciate that it has leopard spots in the middle of it, which is interesting. And it has something called olivine in there as well. But it just kind of looks like a rock to me. But I'm a layman. I don't know what to be looking for.
Okay, here's the really big deal. So, yeah, there's these strange millimeter-sized patterns all over this rock that they call leopard spots. They're light-colored patches surrounded by dark rings, and these rings are rich in iron and phosphate. There were also some other spots found, but these are like nothing that Perseverance had ever found before.
Okay.
The rover then...
Perseverance, you might say, persevered.
So Perseverance used its drill to
hold on,
take...
Hey, 1 second. Hey, 1 second, Tristan. Hey, 1 second. Thank you. I just needed to hit that really quick.
Beautiful.
All right, continue.
Okay. So Perseverance used its drill to extract what is now its 22nd core sample and called it Sapphire Canyon. And sealed in the tube, is now on the rover waiting for a future mission to bring it back to Earth, and will be possibly the most important rock ever drilled out of anything ever.
Okay. That's a big statement. Big words. The most important rock ever drilled out of anything ever.
The reason is because if these leopard spots are what we think they are, it is a geological phenomenon that only ever happens in the presence of biological life. And they have shown this to a panel of experts around the world, and nobody has really been able to make a better case for a non-biological answer.
All right. This is exciting.
It is. So, but I kind of want to get into like how we know this and how we came across this data, and also what the future of discoveries of this are going to look like.
Please do.
The problem is that Perseverance doesn't have eyes, and it does have cameras that can look at the rock, but we were able to learn,
it's kind of like eyes.
But we were able to learn a lot of things, which is wild because Mars is literally 100 million miles away from Earth. An absolutely insane number that we can't even comprehend. And yet it has some amazing little devices on there. So it has two specific little machines where we learned a lot of the information. One is called Pixel and one is called Sherlock. So, yeah. So Pixel stands for Planetary Instrument for X-ray Lithochemistry. And what it is it's a little sophisticated instrument on board Perseverance that investigates the chemical composition of rocks and soils at the microscopic scale.
Okay.
So how it works is it does a geochemical analysis to detect elements in the Martian surface and characterize through that, trying to find evidence of what the past environment of Mars looked like, and also for biosignatures. And it helps because Mars, Perseverance comes across a lot of different rocks, and Pixel can be helpful for finding what are the most valuable rock samples to collect for a potential return to Earth.
All right. So it just sort of like scans everything and is like, these are the best rocks. Got to look out for these rocks.
Yeah, it uses X-rays to find major, minor, and trace elements on surfaces. So how it does it is it uses X-ray and I'll just say that this is stuff that I'm a little bit out of my knowledge zone, but it uses what's called X-ray fluorescence. It's a spectrometer that emits a focused X-ray beam at about 150 nanometers onto the target and causes the rock to emit characteristic X-rays that reveal what elements are in it. So, so it scans surfaces point by point, and it creates a detailed map at a sub-millimeter scale, and it's able to analyze individual sand-sized grains in just seconds. It's a fascinating machine.
It's got supervision. It can see everything, what it's made of, and blast it and get all the tiny details.
Mm-hmm. And it's mounted on Perseverance's arm, and it has a special system for precise micrometer scale positioning and stability to compensate for the fact that Mars differentiates wildly in temperature. And it also has a little micro-context camera to correlate chemical data with high-res images of surface textures and topography to locate chemical features within a visual context. That's how we have our picture of the leopard spots.
Yeah, we've got this little picture here from this little camera. Yeah. How big is this picture that you sent me? How big, what's the scale? That's
those leopard spots are about 1 millimeter across.
Okay. All right, so this is pretty zoomed in. That's nice.
Mm-hmm. And again, I feel like we should just sit back and be like, that picture is from 100 million miles away from here.
Yeah. This is from literally, it's weird because even saying 100 million miles away is impressive enough. But I think we've lost the fact that this is a picture from a different planet.
Yeah.
That alone should be enough to be like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing that it uses is something called Sherlock, which stands for
Sherlock.
Yeah, wonderful name. So it stands for Scanning Habitable Environments with Raman and Luminescence for Organics and Chemicals.
Gotcha.
So it's a combination of a laser spectrometer and 2 cameras that analyze the rocks and soil. So its primary job is to look for organic compounds that are astrobiologically relevant. So this is specifically the thing that's looking for evidence of life. And it also uses fluorescence spectroscopy with a ultraviolet laser, and it detects to classify minerals, and it's basically like a similar type of device, but it's much more focused on organic chemicals. And organic meaning that it's like carbon-based stuff.
Yeah, they could have added a K though, Sherlock, the way it's spelled right now is SHERLOC. They could have added a K to complete it, Well, if Scanning habitable environments with Raman and Luminescence for organics and chemicals. Kids.
Well, it doesn't have that, but I will give you one extra thing, which is that it does have a camera called Watson.
That's pretty good.
That it uses to take pictures of the rock textures.
That's pretty good. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan. When I say that, I just mean the original books. I haven't watched much. I don't talk to me about Sherlock Holmes TV shows. I don't like most of them, but I love the books. Very good.
Well, Butternut Crinkle Fries is watching this, listening to this podcast right now, and now he's disappointed.
Sorry.
Doctor Strange is now upset.
Can't believe we had him as a fan though. That's awesome. Usually our fan base is queer Zoomers, so that's a pretty interesting get.
Yeah, Butternut, you're pretty cool. If you want to come on the show, That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, man.
You're pretty good as the dragon in that
on.
Hobbit movie.
Oh, sure. You're in other stuff. He's got to be in other stuff, right? Other than
he was
like,
in
the
a
three
Star
things we
Trek
know him
movie, and
from.
everyone tries to forget that he was in that Star Trek movie.
He was Khan, but he wasn't really Khan. Like, because they tried to like all the trailers were like, no, it's not him, it's not him. But then he was like, but it is him in the movie.
The less thought about Star Trek 12, the better. Or Star Trek 11.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's what these two things found. As you said, it had. We were able to find Vivianite, which is the dark rims and the spots there. And on Earth, this mineral is strongly associated with decaying organic matter, like dead bacteria, in specifically a wet, low oxygen environment, like the bottom of a lake or a bog. And what was this place? Where was this place? Where were they looking?
It's dried up lake bed.
Exactly.
Whoa.
The second thing they found is a mineral called greigite, which is the light-colored cores. And on Earth, this mineral is often formed by the activity of sulfate-reducing bacteria, which are bacteria that live in anaerobic environments, which means environments with no oxygen. And they obtain their energy by reducing sulfate into hydrogen sulfide using organic compounds or hydrogen as electron donors in environments. So basically they get energy without oxygen by doing this kind of chemistry. And this is where we found this kind of chemistry.
Wild.
Yeah, they also found evidence of electron transfer reactions, which is the fundamental way that microbes get their energy to live. And the chemical...
there's more?
There's more. These chemical processes where electrons move from one molecule or atom to another powers crucial systems in these bacteria like respiration and photosynthesis. So we have a potential energy source for life with chemical reactions that are fairly consistent with how life metabolizes in low oxygen environments, and also the remains, or also stuff that is typically found in the decaying lake beds in low oxygen environments.
It's pretty good.
So in one place, we have a potential energy source for life and the chemical byproducts of that exact same life.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't know which stinger to hit. I could have done Christopher Nolan, but I felt that was going to derail us for a little bit. This is extremely interesting. It's not just, because sometimes I feel like we've been here before, like with Al the Space Potato, where it's like, well, there's like one thing possibly that it could be, but a lot of evidence says, it's not. A lot of evidence says something else, and like a little bit of evidence says it's this. Whereas this feels like a lot of evidence is pointing towards life. Yeah. And that's fascinating.
As of the time of this recording, this is the best evidence we have ever found of extraterrestrial life ever.
This is incredible. Well, I must know more.
It was so crazy that when I saw the NASA announcement, it actually came across my For You feed on TikTok, and I thought it was like a fake thing. And so I went and looked it up, and I'm like, oh no, this is actually NASA's like thing. Like, this is the actual thing they did. So
I want to from NASA.com.
Mm-hmm. So that's that's the case and evidence. And I want to kind of get into the ways that people are interpreting this and analyzing this and what it means. But first, Scott, do you know what potential microbial life on Mars would really want?
Ooh, well, if I know anything about life, all life wants, in fact, needs products and services.
If you really think about it, the entire universe is made of matter and energy, which is basically products and services. So we'll enjoy some matter and energy, and then we'll be back.
That's pretty good.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
That was an interesting way of looking at it. Products and services. All life is products and services. All the universe is products and services. All the way down. Products and services.
Products cannot be created or destroyed. They can only be moved into a different form. And it's like another thing that happens is like I'm a person who hates spending money, and so like I don't like buying, like I don't like checking luggage and stuff, and so I try to like stuff so much shit into a carry-on bag. And anytime Kelly is like Kelly, my wife is like how are you going to fit all that in there? And I will say, at one point, all of the matter in the universe was condensed into something the size of an electron. If they can do that, then I can do this.
Absolutely. And that was a very hospitable, environment, right? That tiny little electron.
I have lost several bags, like luggage bags, because they got overstuffed and like the zipper burst or something. But yeah, let's get back to these leopard spots, because this is like one of the biggest like holy shit moments of like ever. And it's so wild because this was announced.
Yeah, like I wasn't expecting life on Mars, let alone, wild cats. This is cool.
Yeah. And like, it's one of those things where like, it would have been like, I would remember how I said very, very early in this show that like, we're going to discover life and it's going to like kind of get people's attention for a little bit and then immediately get and unfortunately it got announced on the day that Charlie Kirk was shot. And so it completely got overwhelmed.
Which is why I'm announcing my new conspiracy that Charlie Kirk's death was a cover-up for Mars. They didn't want people to focus on Mars.
He was in the pocket of Big Mars.
Yep. Is that joke allowed?
I don't know. Allowed? By December, that joke might be illegal. I don't know.
We'll see.
Ha ha. Okay.
It was all a joke. Free. You can't censor comedy. You're making comedy illegal.
I think by December, comedy might actually be illegal, but who knows? So there are two competing hypotheses for what this could be. The first, which honestly is odd because this is actually the one with the fewest amount of assumptions, is that it's a biological hypothesis that over 3 billion years ago, that in this mud that there were microbes that lived, ate, and died, and their metabolic processes created this specific mineral pattern and as a byproduct. And this is basically a fossil of that activity because it fits all of the signs of that. And if we had seen it on Earth, that is immediately the conclusion we would have come to because it is such like a clear case. There is an abiotic process that was hypothesized to create this, but there's
tell me that.
Well, here's the thing, because usually I'll be like, this is the much more likely case, but hear it out, which is that the way that this would work for it to be abiological is that it would have to have been either in extremely acidic water or very high temperature water, like something like close to a volcano, to produce something similar to this chemistry. Now, here's how we break things down. So instead of trying to prove, this is my little bit here to talk about how when we discover life, how we're going to do it, and not in the way that like ancient aliens would do it, right?
Yeah.
So this is how you actually discover life, potentially.
We're going to do it. This is what I love about this episode, Tristan, is all of the other episodes of people being like, you're just not believers. You don't even think alien life could exist. And I'm just like, no. We've always said that we think, I believe we've said, I don't want to speak for you, that like statistically there's got to be life out there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just very, very unlikely that it was intelligent life that has visited Earth constantly.
Yeah,
without evidence. But we've always said that there's got to be life out there somewhere, probably statistically. And I love this episode or these types of episodes because it's like, see, we're not like immediately trying to be like, no, there's a hoax. This is nothing. We're looking into it, and I'm excited to hear how we're gonna prove that life could be there, but in the right way, not in the History Channel way, not in the Ancient Aliens way. with lots of evidence and tests and things like that. I assume. I don't know. Walk me through it.
Yeah. All right. So this is the first thing. When they first got the evidence of the leopard spots and they were like, oh my God, look at this. The first thing that this group of scientists did was try to break their own case. The reason why it was discovered in July of 2024 and they didn't make an announcement until September of 2025 is because they sent this to multiple different teams, multiple different labs with their idea of how to find any abiological process that could have created this. So here's the thing about that abiological hypothesis, right? The idea that it had to be in either high acidity or high heat water in order to create the chemistry we saw. That rock itself shows no evidence of ever being subjected to high heat or extreme acidic conditions. So there is no evidence that any of the abiological conditions were there to make that case. So that is the abiological case we're talking about is the strongest case we have. And even then it would require us having a lot of wrong assumptions about how the geology of Mars works there would need to be other signs of evidence that it was a very hot acidic place, like a hot spring or something like that. And it's just not there.
We just haven't found it. Or it's not there. Yeah.
Yeah. So to quote Michael Tice from Texas A&M, all our methods of analyzing these rocks indicate that they were never subjected to conditions that could produce leopard spots. If that is the case, we must seriously consider the possibility that they were formed by organisms.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm literally like, I think it's called frisson. That feeling like when your scalp gets the tingles from an epic moment. Like this is huge, right?
Huge.
And the thing is that we have that trust me, a lot of scientists also want to discover life and want to do it rigorously. And so they have come up with something, and we talked about this a little bit in a previous episode, but something called the cold scale.
Okay.
It's called the Confidence of Life Detection Scale. It is a 7-point scale that is as you get higher on the list of the processes of eliminating other options, you come across the definition of concluding that it's life. So if you can get through all 7 of these hoops, then we can be confident it's life. So first,
let's do it. First one.
Yeah, detection of a possible signal.
Okay.
The evidence, detection of evidence. We got that. Number 1.
Check. Done.
Now, 2, rule out contamination. This has not been done yet. This we kind of can't do at the moment because it's
not been done.
But it would be very tough for a rover that is that has that contamination from Earth somehow survived multiple years in this environment in order to have that's contamination would be really, really hard to make the case for. It hasn't been it hasn't been completely ruled out, but
all right.
But it's extraordinarily unlikely.
All right, but it hasn't been ruled out, so I gotta give it one of those.
You got to make sure that the biology is possible, which we have.
We have done. Check.
We have to rule out non-biology, which would require closer analysis of the rock than we can do at this point. But but the best hypothesis that we have been able to come up with doesn't fit the current evidence that we have of the geology of the area.
Okay. Is that a check or a blorp or something in the middle?
That's a chorp. Because basically there's missing data. We're struggling. Yeah. Because to rule out non-biology, we would have to, if it is non-biology, it would be a new kind of chemistry and geology that we haven't seen before, which could still be the case because it's a whole other planet. But unfortunately, from this distance, we're not able to tell.
Gotcha.
Then there's 5, which we have not done, which is to find an additional independent sign of evidence. So finding another one. Yeah. And then rule out other hypotheses and then do independent confirmation. So these parts we haven't gotten to yet.
All right. 2 more blorps.
By the most conservative way of looking at this, we are currently at step 1, a possible signal of life that requires further investigation. which is further than we've gotten before.
That's pretty good. That's that's not nothing.
So,
I mean, I think it is, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Some of these are going to be like, you can't permanently check them off, right? Like rule out other hypotheses. There might always be another hypothesis around the corner. You know what I mean?
it's true. Yeah. Other labs might find other theoretical ways of doing the chemistry that result in the same thing. But at the moment, like they spent the last year and change with multiple different labs looking at different possibilities and coming up short. So
yeah,
that's kind of the place we're in. But the case is still open. And here's the reason. And that is that Perseverance has basically at this point done all that it actually can do. It has really, really great instruments to be able to learn a lot. And we know way more about this rock that is literally on another planet than we have any right to. This is absolutely insane, right? If we're going to make any really definitive statements, we need the Sapphire Canyon sample, which is what the sample it collected is called. We need to get it to a laboratory on Earth and look at it with much more powerful and much more precise instruments. So, how do we do that?
The rover did its job, and now it's time for us to persevere.
Yep, exactly.
How poetic.
Man. I always think that like because of like how the current space programs are going, it's like it's going to sit there waiting for a mission from NASA to bring it home until the Chinese land and just yoink it out of the machine. But yeah, so the thing is that we need to have a sample return mission because Perseverance has been Perseverance has been collecting samples in anticipation of a sample return mission. There is a mission called the Mars Sample Return Mission, or MSR, but it is going to be complicated. It's a multi-stage mission that involves launching a rocket from Mars to bring these samples back to Earth.
That's true. You're going to need your own station there. You have to like send a rocket with stuff to Mars that has another rocket theoretically, or can refuel and rebuild the other rocket. And then that is complicated now that you think about it. Yeah.
It's going to be
I think about it.
It's going to be really tough. The MSR mission has a lot of technical problems that it's dealing with, but also has a lot of budgetary challenges. So it's running way over budget, and it's really, we're struggling to find out what they're going to do. And every time they talk about it, the timeline gets pushed back to the point where right now we're looking at this mission maybe not even happening until the 2040s.
Okay.
That is, unless the Chinese show up and just yoink the sample themselves.
Of course.
Because the thing is that NASA's kind of in a rough spot, mostly due to the fact that in like the sort of a little while ago, they invested way too much in SpaceX, and SpaceX can't stop blowing up all their rockets. So they're a little behind while the Chinese space program's going wild right now. But this is the part that will drive anybody insane, which is that we might have found the single most important thing in the history of science, and it's currently sitting in like a little evidence locker on Mars, waiting for some way for us to get it back.
Let's do it. Tristan, you and me. Let's bring our boy home. Let's do it.
Yeah. We're going to do like a sort of thing, like, when, like that, what was that story when the kid fell down the well, and we'll do like a sort of We Are the World. Like we'll go and raise money to get Sapphire Canyon back, and we'll have like a bunch of celebrities sing a song together.
Bring him home. Bring our boy home. Hey, this is a legitimate question. Do you think it would be easier or cheaper, or really just easier, to just send more robots that can do scientific tests, like more rigorous scientific tests on it, to Mars than it would be to bring the sample back home to Earth?
I don't think I have the answer to that, but my guess is that it wouldn't be, just because like I think that it would have to be some of the kind of stuff that like you would need like a laboratory and a team to like work on stuff. Like the idea is that they might discover things that then require other tests that they wouldn't even have thought of. Like you would have to think of every single test to send there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I think though that
I'm just spitballing in case anyone at nasa.gov is listening and they want some ideas.
Yeah. And it sucks because also, because of America's whole situation right now, NASA is kind of a mess and like its priorities are a little out of whack and everything. So that's where we're at. But I think, though, that one of the most important things in this show to talk about this sample as we sit and wait for potentially like 20 years for this thing to actually come back is that this is a good example of a good way of looking versus a bad way of looking. Because NASA started with the question, what are these spots? It embraced uncertainty and used a formal step-by-step process to try and eliminate other options, and actively tried to disprove its favorite theory. And all of its findings were submitted for a rigorous peer-reviewed study.
Yeah.
Now, Ancient Aliens starts with the conclusion, which is that it's aliens. They project absolute certainty for something with very little evidence. They jump to directly to huge claims without much evidence, cherry pick evidence to fit their conclusion, ignoring everything else, and then reject criticism and falsifiability.
Yeah. It's pretty much the exact opposite
Yep.
way of going about it. Almost exactly.
Yeah. So when you hear stories about, any kind of claim that is really, really big, or even just any scientific claim whatsoever, look at what is the process that they did? How do they show their work?
Yeah.
Are they acknowledging that they're uncertain? Or are they selling you a simple, direct answer? And are they trying to disprove themselves? Or are they only looking for evidence that confirms what they already believe? Because that is the difference between good science and bad science.
But Tristan, showing my work is so boring. It slows me down. I was the kind of kid in school. I was so good at math. I could just do it all in my head. This is a true story. I'm bad at math now because I haven't practiced or kept up with it. But I was a math whiz kid in middle school and high school. I would just ace everything in math. I just knew it. I could internalize it. And my teachers would always say that they didn't believe me. They'd be like, you have to show your work. Show your work on the page to prove that you know how to do it. And I didn't want to. I just could do it in my head so quickly. It would slow me down to show my work. So maybe that's what Ancient Aliens is. They know that these things are aliens, and like showing their work even more than they already do is just slowing them down. There's so much aliens to talk about. And they're on 20 seasons. Imagine if they slowed down to show their work. We'd be here forever.
Maybe they're like me in the same situation where I was internalizing all the math and writing it down, and then I was wrong.
They just thought I had a calculator. I didn't. I had a big science math brain. Just math, not science. I was bad at science. But I had a big math brain in this tiny little skull of mine.
Well, Scott, so when we got into this area where it's like, oh, the part where Tristan makes you sad. So, nothing really fit here. So I thought I would instead give you a existential crisis over this.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I have a stinger for that. An existential crisis.
We're struggling.
One. I could do We're Struggling. I could also do the Among Us one. But I like We're Struggling. We're Struggling doesn't get enough playtime, even though I use it so much.
We're struggling.
There you go.
We are struggling. So where we stand right now, there is a very, very real chance that we are seeing what would be the chemistry that shows that life exists on another planet. That is huge. And if it does turn out to be life, then we have several other questions that we need to consider, which is one, we'll have to look at like one example of like the kinds of things that a lab would be able to look at is the handedness of the organic molecules. So
if it was left-handed or right-handed?
Actually, yes, there's sort of a weird thing in chemistry, and I can't exactly explain how it works, but molecules can be like left-handed or right-handed. Like that's like a whole thing. And all life on Earth is a certain handedness. And if we see any sort of like alteration on that, or even just looking at the biochemistry of them, we might be able to, well, the first thing we're gonna have to figure out is this a case of panspermia, where this is the result of something from Earth that had seeded this planet, come on an asteroid or something like that? Or is it a case of a completely independent development, like abiogenesis of life? So like, did life actually happen in two different places? Then the question is this evidence of life that is now gone, or on the planet, is there somewhere maybe something that is still alive? If so, then a lot of the ways that we're going to need to approach Mars is going to change drastically, because finding out that life exists means that we have to try our absolute hardest to not destroy it. If it turns out that,
but what if the life on Mars is like really good, like really tasty when you grill it up and you deep fry it,
just like little chicken nuggets
on Mars?
I mean,
that would be good.
It's true.
Or maybe we don't have to protect it. Maybe we just have to eat it.
I believe that is literally the story of the dodo.
The space dodo on Mars.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's fair.
So here's the thing. If it is that we have found a independent biological abiogenesis, so the development of life from non-life on a completely other planet, this is going to have some very unsettling ramifications for the Fermi paradox. So the Fermi paradox, as you know, this is the subject of the first two episodes of the show.
All the way back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. It basically is the idea that the universe is so old and so vast and has so many planets that statistically it should be teeming with intelligent life, but where is everybody?
Where is everyone?
And one of the answers that comes up is something called great filters. Basically, that there's some kind of barrier or challenge that is so difficult for life to overcome that almost no species ever does. And we hope that the great filter is behind us. Like, possibly, like, one of the ones is that the emergence of life itself, that chemistry of making life itself is one of those. Like a 1 in a trillion fluke that only happened on Earth. But if this rock shows independent abiochemistry on a second planet in the same solar system, that proves that life emerged twice all by itself in one place, which would suggest that the creation of life from non-life is not the great filter, and suggests that microbial life might be common throughout the universe, which is thrilling and terrifying, because if the universe is full of simple life, but it's empty of starships and radio signals, that means that the great filter is almost certainly in front of us, not behind us.
That's scary.
And that's where I'm going to leave you for this episode.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, that's where we're leaving it.
But holy shit, right?
Holy shit, for sure. Yeah. This is a really interesting story. I'm excited to see what developments come out for it. I expect that because this is like actual science being done, that any updates will be, slow to come out.
We might not know anything in the future for over 20 years. Like this might be the extent of what we know for 20 years.
But this is exciting. We'll check in on this as more details come out.
Yeah, if we're doing this podcast in our 50s, then we can come back and
yeah. That would be fun. And then 20, and then there'll be another 20 years and our children will be doing the podcast in our place.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened? Have podcasts been around long enough for parents to pass it down to their children? And would the children want to?
Yeah. I'm not sure where, I feel like the oldest podcasts came out in 2009-ish.
Yeah, sure.
And the only ones I think that are still around, I think of Comedy Bang Bang and The Bugle. And I feel like their original hosts are still hosting them.
Well,
but The Bugle just turned 18. They're having their 18th birthday this month.
One of these days, or if not, then we'll be the first. We'll pass it down. We'll have to.
The family business. Family. What's it called? We'll make new last names and we'll just be Tristan Podcast or the Podcasting Family.
Oh yeah. I'm Scott. My name is Scott at Probs Not Aliens, so I can always be plugging.
Speaking of which, yeah.
By the way, that's a great place to find us on Blue Sky or any other social media platform at Probs Not Aliens. You can, as people have pointed out again, one of my favorite jokes we've ever done on the show, you can re-bleat us on GOAT, which is not a thing, but someone brought it up again recently, and I just thought that was very funny. We do other stuff outside this podcast, though, that we are never passing down to our children. Tristan, what do you do?
I have a YouTube channel called Step Back. It hopefully by the time this comes out, I'm going to have a video on how one of the most important geopolitical events of the 21st century is happening right now, but you and I in our sort of corner of the world are not hearing about it because all of the countries involved primarily speak French.
And I don't know how to do that. Yeah.
Scott, if I wanted to learn about the cruel death of thought balloons in comics, where would I go for that?
Oh, a good video. Gosh, I need to work with Hass more. He's such a good comic book lettering is so interesting. Anyway, that's my YouTube channel, NerdSync, NERDSYNC. Tristan misspells it in the document every single week. There is a capital S, Tristan. How dare you? How dare you do that to me?
I misspell it every week because it's a template. I copy and paste it every time.
I know. I make video essays and other things about comic book superheroes, animation, cartoons, Scooby-Doo stuff. If you're listening to this,
not Sherlock Holmes.
I have never made a video about Sherlock Holmes, although people confuse me with the other bald guy who did, even though he wasn't bald in that video. If you're listening to this, hopefully I have made a lot of videos for October. And if I haven't, then just feel free to bully me online, anywhere you find me. Lots of Scooby-Doo stuff. I'm doing Dogtober. I was doing Dogist, and then August flew by, and I didn't post anything. So now I'm doing Dogtober with Scooby-Doo, Crypto the Super Dog, and I think also Snoopy. So a lot of dog-related stuff.
Scooby sharing the spotlight.
I know. Well, Emily's a big Peanuts fan, and I like having her help me make videos because then I don't have to write as much because she's an excellent writer.
Wonderful. Just don't look into what the artist did with his life, especially near the end, especially with any young women. Anyways,
you can find this show on nebula.tv/probably not aliens. You get episodes early. And all that good stuff. You can also support the show on Patreon, patreon.com/probsnotaliens. Again, episodes early, bonus content, things like that. But if you don't have the means to support us, no worries. We get it. Times are tough all around. We appreciate everyone who can, but if you can't, then leave us a nice review on wherever you listen to the show, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, if that's even still a thing, or we're on YouTube. Leave a nice comment, thumbs up. Google Podcasts isn't a thing anymore. Cool.
We're actually recording this on the day that like the previous batch of episodes that you listened to premiered, and oh boy, on YouTube we are getting some nice comments. Everyone's super excited that we're back. So.
Oh, that's so good. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And if you've already left reviews and comments and things, then the best way to help out the show is tell your friends about it. Build a big satellite and send a signal straight to Mars so all these fantastic, potentially delicious aliens can listen to our show before we get our grubby hands on them.
So we can raise a little money so we can do the important thing and send honey mustard to Mars.
Send honey mustard to Mars. We need to know if it goes well, if it pairs well with these delicious little aliens. And a great place to send people is probsnotaliens.com. It's got links to everywhere you can find us, all these fun things I've talked about. That is it for this week. My name, as always, is Scott Nicewander.
I'm Tristan Johnson, and the truth is out there. Like, actually, probably this time. Holy moly.
It might be real. It could be real this time. No fooling.
so crazy. So crazy. I'm literally mind blown by this one.
Listeners can't see this, but Tristan this whole time has had like the biggest grin on his face.
So
take
crazy.
that. So take that to anyone who says that we're just haters and we're not believers in aliens. This is like the coolest thing and we're excited about it. This is great. We love it.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.